It's an interesting kind of peace, meditative, like being inside the armor, inside the shell, kind of builds a little bubble. And you know, when that visor comes down, it's just me and my training. Now it represents my time to shine.
We are practicing for armored combat, medieval armored combat specifically. So we have swords and shields and poleaxe weapons, and these guys are getting dressed up in full medieval armor and hitting each other full force. This is a real martial art. This is not play acting.
The Wardens is a fairly new team. We've only really been active for about a year. We had our first big showing as we were able to represent ourselves as the team. It's a big tournament called Carolina Carnage. Super awesome. We finished pretty middle of the pack, but we were all pretty stoked. We have a lot of very gifted fighters in terms of like duels, and they represented themselves well. And because of that, we get to go on to the World Cup in Prague at the end of April, which is exciting. We represent all of Colorado and southern Wyoming. We have close to 20 or 25 people that are at least involved in our community.
Start fight.
Medieval history and the stories surrounding it, I always found kind of romanticized the stories, and trying to imagine myself in those positions was always kind of a scary and exciting notion. You know, watching them sword fight, knowing that the outcome could be life or death, and imagining what it would be like to be those knights in that situation was something I admired, and it scared me. And when this sport came up, that reminded me of all of those feelings, but in a context where I could try to tackle it, where I don't necessarily have to worry about life and death, but it allowed me to imagine the situation that would lead up to that point. It's fantastic to be able to put myself in those positions that I looked up to as a kid, and reading those stories and everything.
Start fight.
We're really all here to have a good time and get better, and we're here for each other. There's no sense of competition within the context of the team, which is really great. All of it is directed outward. How are we going to shine as a unit compared to the rest of the United States? We're all very different kinds of people, and we all, for some reason, come together and overlap in sword fighting.